Hey guys, I got a new video for you today, and we're going to be taking a look at a pretty interesting little tool I came across in my local 511 store today. So I was in the store and I was kind of browsing around, and I saw this guy hanging from one of the pegs, and this is the EDT Hex Keychain Tool. Now, what really caught my eye is that these keychain tools sometimes tend to be a little gimmicky. One of the first things that I always see is that they try and cram a bottle opener into any of these little keychain tools. Luckily, they didn't do that with this one. Bottle openers are good to have, but you don't have to have them on every single piece of gear that you have. So I'm glad that they did not include that in this guy here. But what it caught my eye, especially about this guy, was the bits that you have here. So I thought this was perfect for myself, but also for folks that if you do a lot of EDC stuff, maybe you carry a knife and stuff like that, this is a really awesome tool to have. Primarily because you have both a flathead and a Phillips screwdriver head on this bit right here, and then you have a T6 and a T8 Torx bit on this one here. So obviously the Phillips and the flathead are perfect for majority of everyday small tasks. You know, you're going to come across different things that loosen up. So it's always good to have either one of those handy to be able to tighten it back up. But again, if you carry a knife with you, if you do things with like electronics and stuff like that, the T6 and the T8 Torx bits are a must-have. And I really like the fact that they included that with this particular tool right here. Again, the EDT Hex Keychain Tool. Now, I had seen some reviews on it, and I'm going to be testing this out to see how it holds up. But one of the things that they mentioned is you have this rubber piece right here. Actually, you know what? Before I get into that, let me go ahead and free this guy out of the packaging here. So you have a couple zip ties that are holding the tool itself. So there's one, and then there is two. All right, so we'll set those off to the side. And then you have the bits right here. Let's cut those guys out. And let's see if that worked. Yep. All right, so there is the Torx, and there is the other one, and we'll set them off to the side. We'll go ahead and close the knife to be safe, and we'll take a look at the tool. The tool itself is, again, being marketed as a keychain tool. It is fairly small, as you guys can see it here in my hand. You do have a nice split ring at the top right there, and then you have your little carabiner here. This is actually a I don't know if it's proprietary carabiner to 511, but they call it a microbiner. And this has a particular name, hardpoint carabiner. So it's got a little bit of, I don't know if I would call it jimping on the back right here. Nice little spring action to the gate right there. So perfect to attach it to a bag or something else. Or if you want to go ahead and attach it to your keys using the carabiner, you can do that. If not, you can remove the carabiner and then you still have the split ring right there to be able to attach it. Now, one of the other things that they do market is that you have a pry bar tip back here. Now, yes, that is could be used as a pry bar. It's a little bit wider, so this is good, like maybe opening up paint cans or something like that. But you do have the split ring in there, so I don't know if you hold this back, if it will give you enough leverage to be able to do that. That's probably what I would do, as opposed to actually removing the split ring altogether and to be able to get the full purchase of the pry bar section there. Maybe having a carabiner that clips onto that portion right there, and then you can clip it there, and then if you need to, you can just remove it from the carabiner. That would probably be a better idea. The body itself is stainless steel, and it is, you know, it's not thin, but it's not very thick. It's enough to where if you're going to apply some pressure on this as you're tightening or loosening things, it should not torque it out of alignment as far as the body goes. You do have a little bit of larger jimpings here or cutouts, which if you wanted to, actually, because they're further back here, this will be better for the pry bar section. But in the front right here, you know, these are a little bit too far back. So I was mentioning earlier that I had seen some reviews, and some of the folks were saying that this portion right here, so this is a rubber bit holder. They say it is removable, which you should be able to, okay, so it slides up and down. I guess if you pinch it, you could remove it. Yes. All right, so it comes out. So as you can see, there is a cutout at the top right there and a cutout at the bottom, and that's going to sit, so basically little channels that is going to sit inside of the tool itself. And then the center portion of the tool is cut in that hexagonal form factor, so you can go ahead and slide the spare bit, whichever one you're not using at the bottom here, and then slide that up so it doesn't interfere. So that gets stored right there. So some folks were saying that after you're sliding the bits in and out a couple times, this tends to loosen up and you lose the bits. So again, it's one of those things that, especially folks using it and providing that information back to 511 or back to any other manufacturer, is a great source of information for companies. So if something like this were to happen, I would probably try and contact them and let them know that it happened to me as well. As far as the bits go, they're nice quality bits. You do have a little ball detent right there, which is going to allow the bit to sit securely in the socket portion right there. It's not coming out. And again, as you see here, it is very close to the other one, so you do want to go ahead and slide that back so it doesn't interfere one with the other, so they're not kind of touching and maybe marring it up or something like that. So this is wide enough that it will give you enough torque for majority of smaller tasks that you're going to be using these bits for. Again, there is your Phillips head. As you turn it around, you have your flat head right there. But for me, I really like the fact that they included the Torx here, the T6 and the T8, because I'm always fiddling with my knives, taking them apart and stuff like that. And even though I have a dedicated kind of smaller screwdriver set that I use when I do that sitting at my desk, if I'm out and about, you know, I might have a screwdriver set with me. I might not, depending on the occasion, depending on what I'm carrying. So this is small enough that I can go ahead and either throw it in an EDC bag. I probably would not put it on my keys just because I actually don't have any keys that I carry per se. I don't carry car keys or house keys or anything like that. So this would just be like thrown in my pocket. So I would probably keep this like in my glove compartment. But this is great to be able to just have it, and it has those 4 different bits, which are the ones that you're going to use for majority of things. Again, especially if you're into knives and stuff like that. And as you guys can see, I paid $16 for this at my local 511 store. So I think it is a great deal, especially for something that, you know, it's going to help you out, get you out of a jam. You know, if you needed to, I would probably, you know, keep one of these like maybe at my desk at work. That way, if I had to do something, I have those 4 bits, the general bits that I'm going to use for the majority of things that I'm going to need ready at hand. I can just reach into my desk drawer, pull it out, and I'm ready to go. So for that, if I'm going to be keeping this in a you know, just in a specific spot, and it's not going to be like in my pocket or in a bag or something like that, I think that the bit holder here is going to secure the bit perfectly there. Again, if you're the type of person that's maybe going to be carrying this in a pocket or clipped onto a bag or something like that, I would keep an eye on this. Maybe find some sort of way of maybe putting like electrical tape or duct tape or something around this so that it stays in there. I don't think that that would take away from the usage of the actual tool. You know, maybe just a small portion right here where you can still access, if you take this out, you can still access the bit and it'll come out, and then if you need to put it back in there, you can, and then use the other one, and that way you won't lose that extra bit. Because I can tell you right now, just from taking it in and out, this is a lot looser than what I originally got it with. So you guys can see there, I took a little bit of force to get it out when I first got it out of the packaging, but now it is pretty loose. So I would be worried that I would lose that extra pair of bits or whichever one I have kind of stored in there. So that's just something to think about. I still think that this is a great buy, especially for $16. It's an awesome tool that 511 has put out. Again, it's that mindset of what are the majority of folks going to be using, what are they going to need. They're not going to need a bottle opener, so let's go ahead and take it away. It gives it a nice sleek form factor. You don't have to worry about any pinch points if they were to have incorporated a bottle opener or something like that in here. It gives you enough of what you need and nothing of what you don't. So I think that is really cool. Again, this was a look at the EDT Hex Keychain Tool from 511. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks.